Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is Leading Off, brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. It's me, Joey P. Joe Pizzapia, with you today. And, of course, with you, is the Welsh. And we're breaking all the baseball down from the weekend. A lot to talk about, certainly. Welsh, it's nice to see you, my friend. It's nice to have you here on a Monday. And it's nice to also have a wonderful weekend from Aaron Judge. I got to tell you, it feels good. The fish were in the barrel, and I shot him up real good, Welsh. I shot him up real good.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do the Buxton weekend like I've done all the weekends. I was like, no, I'm not going to do the Buxton weekend. And guess what? It wouldn't have put me on the board, but it would have put me one more homer up. I did get one from Vlad. When I saw the Judge dual homer, I was like, Monday's going to suck. Monday's going to be brutal. And you got the homer. You got the homers, and maybe you'll be on the board. We don't know. As Mayor said here in the chat, which you guys can be hanging out with, will Joey P once again manipulate the home run leaderboard to include his name? That and more on today's Leading Off. That would be the lead. By the way, what is Mayor talking about? Didn't Mayor manipulate the board for an entire week to put him on?
This is called politics. This is what happens. You say the thing that you know you do, and you accuse your opponent of doing it. Look, I'm tied now, and I told you that when I came back here on Monday that I would be on the leaderboard and Mayor would not, and that wasn't a prediction. That was a spoiler. Okay, Ooh. That's right. I told you so. Called my shot in more ways than one. But enough about that. You know, I am feeling lucky, actually. Feeling pretty good about it. So Mayor and I are going to square off in a steel cage sometime later this month. So I hope the pay-per-view buy numbers are good. Or I'm
like Sting in the Raptors, just looking down at you guys right now, just waiting to attack. I need to make my attack here.
Very nice. All right, let's get after it. Let's talk about the weekend of baseball. On Monday, as of the 13th of June, the Yankees and Mets are the first two teams to 40 wins. It's the first time this has ever happened where the New York Mets, since they've been around, have actually been in first place with 40 wins, along with the Yankees at this point in the season, the first to 40. So that's great. Look, you know, New York, East Coast is certainly the Northeast, especially, is a big baseball. I'm not saying, it's a bias. There's no doubt about it. But I always think baseball is better off when the teams in New York are good, because then it allows the other market teams to hate them. And that's good. You need the villain. It's important. So I think this is a good thing for baseball when the Yankees, it's always a good thing for baseball when the Yankees are good. When the Yankees are bad, I feel like it's kind of meh. You need the Yankees to be good. You want them on that wall. You need them on that wall. So this is fun. It's a good thing. Wander Franco, good news for him. He's set to do agility drills this weekend. I can't wait. Actually, this week, I should say today. I can't wait to watch these. I hope they're on Twitter. I know somebody's going to have, him like doing high skips or whatever these agility.
I wonder if he's in the best shape of his life now. That'd be great. That's like the same thing. I do agree. I hope they put on video.
But the agility drills are going to be hilarious. I can't wait to see them. It's going to be like an obstacle course running around. Starling Marte, 2 hits and there's returned to the lineup yesterday, along with Taijuan Walker for the Mets, striking out 10 in a win over the Angels. Speaking of 10, Julio Urias struck out 10, but a tough luck loss on Sunday. Also, the big news in that Dodger rotation is Walker Buehler going to be out for many, many weeks with that flexor tendon, which typically Welsh is a precursor to Tommy John. Been talking about it all year. Talked about it in February and March with you. I said they're not invincible. Let's stop anointing the Dodgers. There's certainly a pathway you could paint where it was going to be a tenuous road for them to get to the World Series.
Here it is.
And here it is. Yeah. So if you have Walker Buehler right now, you can't feel good about this, because typically this does not end well. So, let's go through it. What do the Dodgers do from here? What do fantasy owners do from here?
Well, the Dodgers, they've got some reinforcements in the minor league. I mean, obviously, like we talked about it, the thing that has saved this team is Tony Gonsolin and Tyler Anderson have played phenomenal, since they've been out. You got Clayton Kershaw back, so it was, you traded one soul for another. Buehler goes, Clayton Kershaw comes back, and you've got Urias. They've got reinforcements in the minor leagues in the form of Bobby Miller, who is a absolute fireball thrower. He's relatively ready, if we want to be honest. I think he's in that same mold of Tony Gonsolin. Or they can take that firepower that they have they've got dudes. Miguel Vargas down there. They've got, like I said, Bobby Miller. They've got quite a few other really good prospects that they could package. Andy Pejas. They could package and make a big move. Dustin, it's funny. Brian Fouts in the chat just brought up Dustin May, and Dustin May is really not going to be anything of consequence for this team, for the rest of this season. Maybe a little bit of bullpen help on the back half of the year, but they're going to need. So the decision for them is, do they go minor leaguer? Do they go established pitcher? I think they got to go established pitcher. I kind of hate being the guy. I feel like I'm on here every week. I'm like, listen, the trade market's got to start up. I'm like some stock person. I'm like, it's going to pick up. It's got to, but it has to. I have to imagine no one wants to sell, but I can't imagine the Dodgers are going to feel comfortable throwing in a rookie minor league pitcher to go with Tyler Anderson and Tony Gonsolin, who they have to also feel that they're getting just a little bit more out of than they could have possibly thought. That I think they got to be hyper aggressive, because you're right. They have not been invincible. They've dropped stupid series here. And like the Mets, it's now to the Dodgers. I don't see how these hyper aggressive, big win, 90, 100 win teams can sit back and be complacent. They've got to make moves. And the Dodgers are now without Buehler until probably roughly into September or the playoffs. So I think they have got to make a trade, but they probably don't want to unload the system, because when Buehler comes back and into the playoffs, they still do have Tyler Anderson. They still do have Gonsolin. I mean, they have a lot of guys that they could have rotation problems, but I think they got to make a move. Fantasy owners, scour the wire. You're going to have to scour the wire. And I think if you're in a 10 or 12 team league, Joe, you tell me different. I think this is the time where you get into hyper stream, because at the end of the day, you can make it work. In bigger leagues, It's going to be impossible. You're probably going to have to trade from depth if you really want to make it, but you're going to probably have to get into hyper stream and see if you can make up 75% of it. I don't think there's an acquisition waiting out there for you that's going to replace Walker Buehler. There's no pitcher. I mean, Max Meyer would be one of those guys we would sit and wait for to be called up. Grayson Rodriguez is down. I just don't think the guy is sitting
Meyer's around in a lot of leagues. I know a lot of people dropped him after they picked him up with the injury, so he might be a guy floating around there, and I think he will eventually show up. A couple things that were provocative, I think, that you said. The first one, this is why the A's waited on Montas, because eventually there was going to be a desperate need. And good on the A's, not just taking whatever deal they could get in March or February, that they actually waited. And now it's going to pay off for them big time. Somebody's going to blink here in this. So good job by the A's on that. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. You get Walker Buehler back for the playoffs. You get Walker Buehler back, period. Just want to throw that out there. And the other thing I want to throw out there, which I think is something that nobody else is talking about, talked about it a lot yesterday on the TV show, the Tony Gonsolin innings number and what that looks like. I know he's been fantastic, but the highest innings total he ever had was in the minor leagues in 2018 at 128. He has never thrown more than 57 innings in a major league season. That, my friends, is happening right now, right? Right now, he's at 57. So I don't know how long you can count on him. I don't know. I mean, Walker Buehler is worse of an injury for them than Clayton Kershaw, because Kershaw's almost expected. Kershaw was kind of like the bonus. And it's been great that you've been getting Kershaw-esque performances out of Gonsolin. But at the same time, Welsh, I'm looking around now, and Anderson was going to turn into a pumpkin. Like, that's some nice start. That's fine. But they are in desperation mode. They have to go be aggressive, I think.
Yeah, and a couple things to add to that. I think part of that plan long-term may have been that you're getting these amazing innings out of these guys, that when you get towards the back half of the season, it's a great point about innings, that they probably start stacking these guys together. Tyler Anderson and Tony Gonsolin could have become one starter on the back half of the year to manage innings. A great point that Mayor brings up, because I completely forgot, is Andrew Heaney is going to come back. And Andrew Heaney was having an insane start to the season, and he will be important for them to get back. And it could be a justification for them to not be aggressive. But then let's bring it back to your point, where if you've got any innings issues with, especially with Gonsolin or with Tyler Anderson, you're still going to be down a guy. You're still theoretically down a guy. And
it's inevitable.
You have more injury risk in your rotation than any other rotation in baseball right now. Give me a rotation maybe you will. Give me one rotation that is has more injury prone than the Dodgers.
Yeah. Well, the Mets, because the two best starters they have are currently on the
they're not even there. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about the guys that are there. I mean, you got Heaney, who's coming off injury. You got Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, but like Heaney's not dependable. Gonsolin has been great. He's not dependable. You can't depend on Anderson. Urias, look, this was a great performance. Maybe things are starting to turn around for him. I think that's great. I'm hopeful. But I'm telling you, the Walker Buehler injury, in some ways, it's worse than a Mookie Betts injury. It's worse than because it really hurts you then in the playoffs. It's one of those things that really hurts you there when you get into those short series where you don't have that number one guy. And look, he hadn't been pitching like that anyway. which
No.
certainly I
But
think
you were
now
hoping
we
for him
kind
to
of
come
understand.
back, turn it around.
We were hoping for him to come back, but this is also something people should be aware of too. When you start to see a great pitcher who doesn't look like himself, be very leery, because usually there's something going on. Typically, it's more physical than it is mental or mechanical or things like that. Most of the time, it's a physical issue, and sometimes it does rear its head. And then the next thing you know, you go, "Oh, I wish I'd gotten out of it." And in redraft leagues, sometimes you gotta, pick and choose your battles a little bit. All right, let's go to the rest of the headlines here. Justin Verlander goes 7 in a win over the Marlins. Very nice outing for him. Josh Hader picked up his 19th save. Over on the injury wire, Avisail Garcia to undergo an MRI today. Michael Kopech, same thing, MRI on his knee yesterday. Lance Lynn is going to be back for the White Sox on Monday. He's actually 5K or 5.5 on FanDuel tonight.
Soul for soul.
Yeah,
you lose Kopech, you get Lynn back.
This whole show is being done from Vormir. That's where
right.
the show is being done from. If
Soul
you get that reference,
soul.
then we could be friends. That's right. Chris Bryant is close to returning to baseball activity. That's good. So hopefully he can have some baseball activity, and Wander Franco can have some agility activity, and everyone can have some activity. Speaking of activity, can we talk about this? The Athletic, Ken Rosenthal and his bow tie are reporting that Willson Contreras would make a particular sense for the Giants at the trade deadline. Now, the Giants just this week, Welsh set Joey Bart down.
Yeah, done.
The Rays, the Padres, the Mets are all floating out there too. The Padres and the Mets, to me, are teams I think should be super aggressive on Contreras, especially the Padres, because I know the Mets have the young catcher at AA who's got 1,000 OPS right now. They're very high on him. I get that. But if I can't see the Giants trading Joey Bart in this trade, I just don't see them doing that. But I can see the Padres needing offense, fixing a lot of things at one time here. Where do you think this market's going to start to heat up for Contreras? Do you think it is the Giants? Do you think Joey Bart is that piece that gets it done? Because it's going to take a big trade to
I don't know
get
if it's
Contreras.
Joey Bart that makes that done. I think they've got a kid named Kyle Harrison in the minor leagues who's just phenomenal right now. I mean, the Giants pitchers in general just get it done, but Kyle Harrison, he would be the centerpiece of a trade. It probably wouldn't be too much more if the Giants were to make it. They don't have a ton of ammunition, but they got Elio Ramos, Marco Luciano, I guess. Actually, you know what they do? And Luis Matos. I mean, they got a lot of younger guys that are lower that they could try to make that trade. The Padres is funny because the Padres have been acquiring catchers like nobody's business for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Austin Nola, they had Victor Carantini, who they moved away.
They had Mejia before that too.
Mejia before. They just have not committed to a guy, and it's like this would be like the 6th different catcher. They had Hedges for a time. I'm forgetting the kid, the Marlins kid who's there now. I completely am drawing. Oh, Jorge Alfaro. They've got like maybe this would be the guy, but how much acquisition can they truly have in the catcher market? I think the Giants would make a ton of sense. I'm not so sure about the Padres in here, but I think he will be a hot commodity. Maybe even I would be remiss to say that like he might be a hotter commodity than any of the starting pitchers that are out in the market, just because I think this can be, the catcher for a team for quite a few years here. The Giants would make a lot of sense. Like I said, they've got the minor league assets to move, and they're in desperate need. Though here's the only caveat. They've got a kid named Patrick Bailey in their minor league system who they drafted to be the future defensive catcher. Joey Bart was, I think the plan was Patrick Bailey, who's older and could be coming up in the near future, would be their catcher, and Bart would be the like first base DH occasional catcher. Right. And Bart's bat has also not worked. So I'm not sure the team would unload. The Giants are pretty stubborn about how they are, regardless of the point. Contreras' market will heat up soon, and I think we'll see probably a pretty big trade for it. Padres, I think, would be a fantastic spot for him, but I would lean to the Giants over the Padres.
I don't think the Mets would be out of that deal because I could see, Uncle Stevie going all in. I could.
I just think they need pitching. I think they need to get in more pitching help with all the injury.
Well,
stuff.
I think if you're the Mets, you figure you're getting Scherzer and DeGrom back at some point. That's what you're hoping for. That's what you're expecting.
Yeah.
And if you get that, then you want to go more offense. You want to go with something else that's going to help the ball club. That's what I think. But, it depends on what that price is. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees got in on this too, because I think the Yankees right now just, I know.
Yeah, Jose Trevino,
good weekend. But let's not.
The Yankees would make a
Contreras
ton of sense
is
to me.
A big game changer there.
Now, so I'm glad you brought that up because they're pitching. They've got the depth in the minors. They've got the starters. They're starting offensive players to play. Contreras makes all the sense in the world to the Yankees for me. The Mets, they're kind of like in that same vein of like, would they invest in a guy when they've got a guy sitting in the wings? I don't. Patrick Bailey isn't Francisco Alvarez like the Mets are, but Alvarez is within 1 year of whether it's this year or early next year. Would they really unload to get Contreras? I don't think Alvarez should hold them back. I just don't know if they would. The Yankees, though, 100% would make sense because that would probably call better games for even though. But here's another argument. Not to go down a rabbit hole. Look at how well the pitchers have pitched. Do you want to take that catching staff away? What role do they play in the success of all of these guys? So,
well, I guess here's the argument. Counter argument to that is, if you lose, 2-1 in the playoffs, who cares, right? In the game, you got to have offense too, and I think that outside of Judge, the Yankee offense is a little all over the place. I mean, like these Torres went on a run. Rizzo went on a run. Like that's what you always get, guys who go on a run. But I mean, I don't know. Contreras is right now, I think, at his peak. And I've always liked the player, but I never thought he was a franchise player. I still don't, but I think he is really hitting his peak right now. And I think this is a really interesting time to acquire him. Fun facts. There's a lot of them today. I know Welsh loves fun facts. Justin Verlander now has the most wins in Major League Baseball with 8. He is a year and a half removed from Tommy John surgery. And in his first season back, he has a 1.94 ERA, 5th best in Major League Baseball.
That's fun.
Once again, Cy Young. Let's go.
So much
35.1. That's the miles per hour of Frank Schwindel's pitch, which is the slowest known measured pitch in Major League Baseball ever to get hit for a home run on Sunday. So I saw the pitch. It was very entertaining.
I very much enjoyed watching that pitch just get absolutely murdered. It was like softball. It was the one softball moment of baseball that I saw. Like it was a softball pitch, and it looked exactly how a softball player would approach trying to hit a home run. It was ridiculous. I loved it.
It was hilarious.
Yeah. More should throw 30 miles an hour is what I say. We should see more of that.
I'm all for it, baby. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Speaking of a little history, how about today in baseball history? Let's do a little of that here. Today in 2003, Roger Clemens, after 4 unsuccessful tries, finally hits the 300 win club, and everybody rejoices because he's such a popular, wonderful, liked player. Everybody loves Roger Clemens. Speaking of Roger Clemens, though, he is no stranger to the Cy Young Award himself. He has won that award on several occasions. In fact, he has won it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. I thought it was 5, but he won it 7 times. That's pretty impressive. There's 3 major league teams that still haven't ever had a Cy Young winner. Who are those 3 major league teams? There you go. Drop your answers in the chat. Make sure you subscribe to
Can I guess one?
MLB if you want to take a guess. Of course you can.
The Rays?
Okay, that's one guess there. I will let you know if that is correct. I'm gonna give
you're not telling me if it's correct. Okay.
I'm gonna give some people some time. But in the meantime, while we're doing that, one of them is very obvious. Okay. Deep dive time. JT Realmuto. Stats have not been great. 249 batting average, just 3 homers. OPS is under 700. He's still ranked as the second best catcher in terms of WAR this season.
WAR.
Are you buying on JT Realmuto, or is this the decline of a catcher? Fantasy speaking wise, what do you think?
I think, well, do you mean of this catcher or the catcher in general?
Of this catcher, of JT Realmuto.
Oh, Blake Snell. I forgot about that. Ugh. All right. Oh, man. The Cy Young. I forgot.
Man.
I forgot about my Blake Snell.
I didn't want to say it until somebody said Blake Snell because I knew you were going to Blake Snell.
Man. I get no respect.
Jeez, man. Come on, man.
I think the overall catcher has been declining, and this is why I've been anti-catcher in fantasy for the most part. The people that always want the edge of like, I'm going to take the best guy, and it's like the best guy is fluid year to year. I mean, Dalton Varsho, I have near the top due to homers, stolen bases, leading off. Realmuto, I think if the cost is cheap, that's always my approach with these catchers. But I don't think anybody's looking to trade Realmuto at like a big discount. I think he exists in a top like top 3 or 4. I think Salvi, Varsho, and are probably 1, 2, and then there's this tier of Realmuto. I don't know if Will Smith still sits in there. You would put Contreras into that space. I don't know if I need to go out and get that big advantage at catcher when I think you can also stream the position. I mean, there's only of the good qualified catchers that show up for WAR, by the way, on FanGraphs. There's only 7 of them, so you have to take off qualifications. But if you're out there looking for stats, you're not going to get necessarily the stolen bases, but Keibert Ruiz isn't performing at that ridiculous of a level. I mean, Christian Betancourt for the A's right now has 4 homers and 4 stolen bases with a better batting average. That MJ Melendez, another one of those, hitting 258 with 6 homers. My point is it really worth trading a major asset for a 249 batting average with 6 stolen bases at the catcher position when you can make up the other categories probably by streaming or for cheap? So as much as he's the underperformance, I would say, is worth the buy, but I don't think the cost will be worth the buy with how catchers tend to go. So I would actually say no.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think no is the answer as well. Usually catchers in the second half are worse. I think Real Muto will play better, but I don't want to make that investment for the second half. And just so everybody knows, the Padres are not one of those teams. They have 4 Cy Youngs, 76, 78, 89, and 2007. So those people, and I think somebody pointed out Jake Peavy was one of them. Perhaps that was
Peavy. I love Jake Peavy.
Yeah.
The Rockies have got to be one.
Where it Burns when I Peavy, spelled like Eric Burns. And
I
love
Eric
favorite team name.
I'm telling you,
Eric Peavy.
Or not Eric, Jake Peavy. I know, confusing them. Eric Burns, not one of my favorites. Jake Peavy was like my favorite growing up. My 2 favorite players. It's funny, my very, very first dynasty league we ever played in, Bogman and I traded the first overall pick to go to 2 so I could take Vladimir Guerrero Sr. and then I could come back and take Jake Peavy before Bogman could. That was I loved those 2
Jake
players.
Peavy. I had a lot of Peavy shares for many, many years. It's funny, the Padres actually have more Cy Youngs than the San Francisco Giants. I bet you never would have thought that too.
The Rockies got to be one of those, right?
The Rockies are one of them.
Okay,
that is correct.
Yeah.
The
Mike
Marlins
Hampton never could do it.
Them. I saw Marlins was in the chat.
Oh.
Last one here. Finally, Brian got it. The Rangers, the Texas Rangers, have never had a Cy Young. The Rockies, Marlins, and Rangers, 3 teams, no Cy Youngs between the 3 of them. It's funny because you always had the Cincinnati Reds who just got their first one in 2020. You would have thought the Reds would have had somebody in all these years, but nope, no Reds. The Rays had one in 2012 and 2018. Wasn't David Price? Didn't he win a Cy Young? I want to say David Price was one of them.
Yeah, I mean, no respect to. I just cheated. I cheated, and I was just like, what are the young teams? I immediately went to the young teams. So
yeah, well, that's fine. 2012 was
the Rangers surprises me.
Yeah. Oh no, I understand. I understand. Well, if you think about it, like the Rangers, it was always a hard ballpark to pitch in the 90s. And then before that, they had older pitchers like Ferguson Jenkins, retread. Like that was the kind of organization they were. They didn't really have
I'm talking about.
Yes, that was right. David Price, 20-5 in 2012.
Oh, okay.
I was correct.
Mayor just posted my exact mental thought process. I would have thought Nolan Ryan he says 9. I would have said like 14. Like,
No, because he never won a Cy Young with the Rangers. He won his Cy Youngs with, if any, he won with Houston.
Okay,
you have to realize peak Nolan
Ryan on this one.
He pitched for the California Angels. He was good, but peak Nolan Ryan is the same J.R. Richard period where you get like the late 70s, early 80s Nolan Ryan, like 1981, 82 Nolan Ryan. That era of Nolan Ryan was so good. And then obviously the later version into 86 when he made the playoffs with that team and then eventually moved on to the Texas Rangers. But no, he did not win. So the Rangers are that team that has like this older starters, this retread guys. Some of the ones from the Padres were pretty interesting. Mark Davis in 1989, that was one of them, which I recall because I'm old. And for the Padres, you had here's some fun ones too. Some names from the past. We had Eric Gagne, the last reliever to win a Cy Young in 2003.
Okay.
Chris Carpenter in 2005, Brandon Webb in 2006, Jake Peavy in 2007, Tim Lincecum back-to-back in 8-9, and then Roy Halladay for the Phillies in 2010. Again, these are the National League guys. And then there was a 2012 R.A. Dickey year for the Mets. Remember when R.A. Dickey won a Cy Young? What a beautiful time.
Wasn't he involved in like the Syndergaard trade or something?
Yeah, Syndergaard, and you got Travis d'Arnaud and Syndergaard. All right. We're being told to move on. We're getting counted off here by Mayor. Stat heroes from the weekend. John Gray, 6 innings, 1 earned, 3 hits, 10 Ks. Luis Severino, 10 Ks of his own with 1 earned over 6. Urias, we mentioned with his 10 Ks over 2 earned runs, 6 innings pitched. Walker was great. Nick Martinez, where did that performance come from? 9 Ks, 1 earned run. Joe Musgrove. I've got 2 shares left for National League Cy Young. It's all invested in Musgrove, and it's all invested in Alcantara. Musgrove, 8 Ks, no earned runs. I feel like the Musgrove narrative might build, though, as the season goes on, because the Padres are going to be in contention. The Marlins are not. And that, I think, might be the difference maker for Musgrove. But this is going to be a fascinating race. Now's the time to get in on it, because those two guys are going to the moon. Carlos Rodon, 8 Ks, a nice bounce back performance, no earned over 6 innings. And look, the Jose Barrios, good start, 5 Ks, 8 innings, 1 earned run. Jordan Montgomery continues to be very solid. He's put together a really good 2021 and a really good start to 2022. Nice to see Jordan Montgomery really turning things in the right direction in his career. Seth Brown, 3 for 12 with 3 dingers, though. Pete Alonso with 2 home runs, so I guess the hand is fine. Jesus Aguilar had 2 home runs. Nelson Cruz had 2 home runs. Josh Bell had 2 home runs. Brian Reynolds had 2 home runs. Jared Walsh had a home run hit for the cycle. And Aaron Judge, 6 for 13, 2 home runs. I can't
all these players I could have picked this weekend. All these players I could have picked this weekend.
I can't believe they scored 17 runs and Judge hitting a home run in that game. I can't believe it. Anyway,
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Here are the losers, the stat zeros. Eric Lauer, 8 earned, 5 innings rather. I'm telling you right now, dude, the Milwaukee Brewers are in serious trouble in that division. Remember,
I've been picking on Lauer a whole lot because he was living the high life off of that insane fastball that he was getting. It just didn't seem sustainable. It was more like a reliever's fastball, and the other secondaries were doing all right, and it's just falling apart now. None of it seems sustainable, and it's starting to unravel a little bit.
No, absolutely is. There's no doubt about that. So are the Milwaukee Brewers, to a certain extent, because Aaron Ashby, 6 earned runs for him. Martin Perez finally showed up, 12 hits, 6 earned runs. That's Martin Perez. That's the guy I know. Carlos Carrasco, 5 earned runs. If you listen to the waiver wire, not the waiver wire, the buy-sell video last week, it was trading Martin Perez. So hopefully you listened and you did that before this start. Carlos Carrasco, 5 earned runs for him. Mackenzie Gore, 6 earned runs. Bad start for him. Shane Baz came back. I don't want to go crazy about this. His first game back, 5 earned runs, 2 1/3. Let's not go crazy about that. Chris Stratton gave up 5 earned, did not get a single out. And Zach Gallen, 6 runs, 4 of them earned. Defense is not helping out. The hitters, here's who was miserable, Welsh. Connor Joe, 2 for 17 with 6 strikeouts. Remember a Connor Joe? Remember beginning of the year? That was fun. Remember that? That was awesome.
Never my thing. I was never a Connor Joe type of guy, but yeah, not looking good.
Yeah. Jesse Winker, another 2 for 12. He did it a home run, but 6 more strikeouts for him. Brian Hayes, 1 for 12. Trey Mancini, 1 for 11. Jorge Soler, hitless with 6 Ks. Julio, 2 for 14. Doesn't matter. He's Julio. He's great. 3 for 16. Cole Calhoun, 188. That was another thing we talked about. Ride the wave, pick up Cole Calhoun 2 weeks ago, and immediately he was in the sell column the next week. So hopefully you picked him up. You did well, and you moved on. And if you listen to that, you've been doing very well here. Home run calls for the weekend. Title chaser got 2 from Byron Buxton on Friday. Welsh did not get 2. Very frustrating for Welsh. I thought he did. I was all happy for Welsh because I thought he called Buxton, but I forgot.
And now I'm going to chase Buxton like all week. Now I'm going to get back to chasing my Buxton, and it's just not going to work. And I just
don't want to chase your own Buxton. Usually you want somebody else to do that for you. But here you go. Title chaser ties DeBlum at 22. Night King of North still hanging around at 21. High Cubby at 20. Then you got Adelgadillo at 19. The rest of the people at 19. And then 4 others tied with Joey P. 18. I see Larry C up there too, our good pal Larry C. So
I mean, you got to put Joe on the board. If Joe is tied at 18 with others, we can't put I'm sorry, but you can't put a rando on there. You got to put Joey on there. So congratulations.
Hashtag no randos.
No randos.
Sorry.
I hope I can get there someday. I hope I can be a big boy just like you guys, but not yet. I'm sitting at I think 13, so I'm
Mayor was so salty. Mayor was so salty about, this is the guy who called Bryce Harper 5,000 times this year. He's so salty that I called Aaron Judge, give me crap about, it's so easy to call Aaron Judge. How many times has he called Harper? How many times has he called Alon? I mean, he's been like the king of the easy home run. It's not about easy. It's not about hard. It's about right and wrong, baby. Just getting right and wrong. And I'm feeling it right now. And I'm talking smack because I can because I'm on the board and Mike Mayer is not. Woo! That's right, baby. Let's go. I'm the king of the home run board. Let's go. Let's talk about bettingpros.com and let's talk about BetMGM, the king of sports books. I'm telling you right now, you can bet $10, win $200 at BetMGM. You can download the app for BetMGM or go to betmgm.com, but use that promo code leading off. One word, leading off, bet 10, win 200. Doesn't matter what the outcome is. We're giving you free money. And today, here's a way to make that money even better and work for you. Ronald Acuna, total bases 1.5. That's at -115 over at BetMGM. These are all BetMGM today. Christian Javier, 5.5 Ks. I would go with the over against the Texas Rangers on that. Cole Calhoun alone is good for 3. -120 on that. Still pretty good juice. Austin Riley is even money for 1.5 total bases over on BetMGM. Bryce Harper is at -105 for 1.5 total bases. And Vlad Guerrero, 1.5 total bases, is at -105 as well. What do you got today, Welsh, for us in terms of the betting market?
I got 2 going with the strikeout, only 1 strikeout one. I'm going to go back to Aaron Nola. I didn't hit it last time. It was a high number. I think it was at 7.5. I think he ended at 6, but Nola has been phenomenal. A couple weeks ago, I laid out that, as far as like prolific strikeouts, he was the least walky guy of anyone inside that top strikeout marker, and only really more proficient guys were Shane McClanahan and I think Garrett Cole or Corbin Burns were the only other 2. It's set at 6.5, and I am going to take the over up against Miami. They're bottom 6 in the league on strikeouts. So give me Aaron Nola. Love that one. And I am going to chase my Buxton and give me Buxton total base overs. Now, the last 5 games where he didn't get a hit in his last 1 or 2, or I think it was 1, and I'm not sure if he was in the other, but his last 5 games where he has gotten a hit, which I think accumulates the last 8 games, he has hit the 2 total base marker. Tonight, flexing, he is a perfect 5 for 5 against in the career. So last 5 games, when he gets hits, they equate to over 2 total bases. Actually, a lot of homers as well. Lots of doubles in there. So give me Buxton total bases, Aaron Nola strikeouts. Put it on the board.
Seems like a lot of people in the chat don't care for the randos comment, to which I say, have more home runs than me, and you won't be a rando. Oh man, I am feeling it. I like this one today. I don't know why. It's because I had to get up early and take my daughter to the doctor, probably. So I'm already in a bad mood.
Oh, I know. Well, we're gonna get heel here because this is exactly what a rando would say. The randos are why you guys are getting paid to do this. I love that comment. That's one of my favorite randos. Anger.
That's Go Cards, though. I mean, Go Cards.
I love Go Cards. I love Go
Cards and Wonky Penguin. They might be the reason the show even exists, period. Those 2 people. You throw JP in there.
You're not wrong.
Maybe Dr. Glenn. You're 100% right. I don't care because it's a funny bit. That's all I care about is the bit.
But we're going to go with the randos. We're going to talk about the randos. Sorry. But yes, you are the king of the randos.
Yeah, like Mike Mayer trying to rally the randos. You're the rando rallier. That's what you are, Mayer. Go ahead.
Oh, I like that.
Try to do it all, Mayer. Try to get everything you can there. All right, let's go to the DFS slate for the night real quick, and then our home run calls. So tonight, Alcantara versus Aaron Nola. Alcantara is 10.2. Aaron Nola is 10.1. Look, if you want to be different, you go Aaron Nola in the tournaments, but I'm telling you right now, Alcantara in cash, it'd be crazy not to. Over his last 6 starts, 1 earned run or less in every single one of them. He's been as dominant as you could possibly get. So just keep it simple tonight. And then if you're looking to scale down, Merle, we keep talking about Merle Kelly. Look, Merle shows up. He's just 7.9. He's the perfect price. If you want to go Christian Javier at 9.6, I'm okay with that. There's a lot of win equity. Darvish at 8.4. If you want to split the difference, I'm fine with that. I would not pair Alcantara and Nola with Manoah tonight. That's too expensive. You're not going to get enough offense. So take one of those 2 pitchers, have your tournament lineup, have your cash lineup, and then switch them to just put 1 in one tournament, 1 in the other, just because you want to have that one Alcantara in the tournament just in case it goes off and he throws a complete game shutout or something like that. If you have multi-entry kind of a player, but Merle is the cheap way out tonight. Darvish is the mid-range, Javier the higher one, but I think you'd do just as well with Merle and get more offense. On FanDuel, same thing. Have your Alcantara lineup, which is 11.3. It's super expensive, but you almost have to have it. Lance Lynn is a trap at 5.5. I wouldn't go after it. Merrill Kelly is 9.9. Nola is 10.2. Manoah is 10.8. If you're going to spend 10.8, you might as well go up to Alcantara. I mean, the Phillies strike out a fair amount too. I don't know, Welsh. That's how I see the board. Keeping it simple tonight. Toronto,
everyone on
Houston,
the
Minnesota.
Try to play Lynn, by the way. I just want to point out, like to your point, everyone on the planet's going to try to play Lynn tonight.
I don't know about there will be people who play it because if you play it and it hit, I mean, look, you can get every piece you want and play Lynn tonight, but Lynn's got to go 5 innings and he's got to have some win equity in order to make it even turn out, even at that cost. He's still got to have win equity. Toronto, Houston, Minnesota. Those are the stacks for tonight. Gabriel Moreno is just 2.21 DK. Hunter Dozier swinging a good bat, 3.6. Michael Chavis at 3K. Hunter Dozier on FanDuel, 2.7. Chavis, 2.5. Moreno, 2.0. Buxton is the play tonight, Welsh. Before we even came and talked today, you know I had Buxton already in the home run sheet. Let's go 5 for 5. Let's make it 4 for 4 tonight with 4 home runs. All the Buxton. Where are you going for your home run tonight? You want to come on? You want to join the Buxton train? Come
I mean,
on.
I do,
okay.
but I want to get some separation here. I mean, yeah, there's not much of an effect. I'm going to go with Arenado. I'm going to try to get some boards off on the side here. You got him. Take him. I would have taken him if he wasn't on here. I might, you know what? I might even commit to a whole week of Buxton if we can get there, if I can start getting back up. But you got Buxton. I got Arenado. Who does Mayer have?
Who knows? He probably got Judge. No, he's got Jose Altuve. That's what he's trying to hurt me personally. Picking one of my favorite little players. He's trying to pick a short guy.
He needs to start picking he'll start picking the randoms. I like how he's getting into this bit. He wants to be king of the randos, trying to rally the troops against us. But just start picking random no name guys.
Show me.
He gets homers.
Show me. Next thing you know, Maris stuck at 16 through.
He's like David Peralta. We're like, all right, fun.
And JP's 100%. We're like, JP's like, this rando has 1 home run today, and Joey P's off the board. You're right, JP, and that's why I love you. See, this is fun. This is a good time.
The randos own this. They were owning this thing for like 2 months. They're the leaders.
Listen, I was gonna say the randos are crushing us all year. And this is the fun of it. We're trying to have fun. Baseball's supposed to be fun. We're supposed to laugh and enjoy life. This isn't real life. This is
not a lot of fun
life,
anymore there, Joey.
It's fun.
No.
But Dr. Glenn, I expect Dr. Glenn to change his name to Dr. Rando tomorrow here in the chat. I'm all about that. So that'll do it for us. We went long today, but obviously it was worth it because it was fun and we had a lot of stuff to talk about. So we'll be back again tomorrow to do it all again. Make sure you subscribe to Fantasy Pros MLB channel in order to get all your baseball talk. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on for Welsh. I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, randos.
Bye, randos.